Hello, beautiful. I am Blythe Stevens, MFA, Bliss Catalyst, and creator of A Blythe Coach, where I help multi-passionate creatives take leaps of faith and share quite a bit on these internets with you. Cheers! About my creative process and living a purposeful life and a creative non-conventional life, and not that it's the right thing to do or the only way to be, but it's a way to be that I quite enjoy, and I love looking back at these reflections on periods of time in my life, monthly reflections, quarterly, annual reviews, and the like. Enjoy a beverage. Here I've had coffee earlier, but this is a rooibos chai, actually, a throwback tea. For me anyway. Drank a lot of chai, a lot of rooibos back in the day, but anyway, we're looking at some of my most often used pens in the month here. A couple of Lamis and a couple of Kavekos, and then quite a few other materials that were involved. This is my Manufactica leather A5 notebook cover with two Rhodiorama dot grid notebooks. And I did have March in this seasonal book, and now we're looking at April. So happy spring in real time. My April cover page has a monthly stamp helping me keep track of how many weeks are in the month, where the weeks are falling, just a quick reference there, as well as in linear form where I'm noting major events and holidays and moon cycles and my own cycle and things I want to note, and mostly in advance. I do sometimes update this after the fact, but here more so we see what I was planning on and not in too great of detail. The detail comes later when we look at some of the goals and major focuses. We see some of the highlights that will come up over the course of the weekly spreads. And then I also like to try to capture highlights after the fact. This is actually a picture from last year's trip, so I had that up in here in advance, but the collage happened with the wrapping paper and origami paper and stickers happened over the course of before and into the month. Stamping too just continues to be that decoration and the playfulness, and that is part of what brings me back in here very, very regularly every day. So I'm aware of what my priorities are, what my experience was, what the vision was, themes I'm exploring, and then I come back and put, like I said, the highlights in my glows page for the month. Here, a restaurant sticker that I picked up over the course of the month. So April was spent here. I'm back in Cologne, Germany, but in Germany in real time. I'm back, as well as in Portland, Oregon, and on the big island of Hawaii in Kailua-Kona, Hawai'i. So it was a very flight-filled, traveling, springy, very springy, especially in Cologne and in Portland. We did have cherry blossoms and all the early spring blossoms and greenery, and it was so pretty. So that was a highlight that I'll be recording in here, along with before I went on travels. I also got a great dental exam and cleaning with a new dentist, which adulting, and I got a new pen and inks actually before I went, and a couple of fun new inks to try. Oh, hi. Editing Blythe here, back in the role of recording, filming Blythe, because for some reason the sound did not work on the portion of my video where I discussed the media I enjoyed in April. So here we go. I read, or at least completed, one fiction book, although as we'll see, foreshadowing, in May, I completed several books, so I had started other books in April, but the one that I finished was The Flavia de Luce Number 4, I Am Half Sick of Shadows by Alan Bradley. It's a fun, sort of silly, macabre murder mystery. And I'm continuing to read that series. A couple of songs that particularly stuck out. Actually, as I was wandering the stores of Portland, Oregon, we heard a couple of beloved oldies. Horse with No Name, and Let's Live for Today. So those were a couple of listening highlights for the month. In terms of viewing, did not see too much, or at least not too much new as far as films or series, but I did get to enjoy the Merry Monarch Hula Festival, which was broadcast live on TV in Kona, as well as live streamed and recorded and available on YouTube. And you can check it out. There's some great highlights. Totally recommend that. It takes place in Hilo, which is not far from where we were, well, a couple of hours driving, but it's also available for free there and everywhere, as well as the Wizard of Oz Ballet was another viewing highlight. West Hawaii Dance Theater and Academy performed at Kailua Theater, where I was the MC. So those were some viewing, listening, and reading highlights from the month. Over the course of travels, new dentist was great. So let's look at the weekly pages. The first week I created a lot and published and shared a lot of things. Email, video, blog, taught 12 classes, wrote my morning pages on all weekdays. Was very busy, didn't necessarily complete all the habits that I intended, or at least didn't record them, but did the main priorities, which was the dentist, do some good prevention. I was packing already, waxing my backpack, and also doing some celebrations and sharing about the content I was creating. I made a video that I quite enjoy. It's an exercise that I particularly value myself. I call it, in this video, Slow Foot O's, and was really feeling springy and Eastery, and it's one of my favorite times of year. So that was a week of much activity here in Cologne, as well as the second week in April. Continue to teach, celebrating with various events, meals, and parties for students, decorating spring cookies, finishing up that packing process, as well as a cleaning and digital detox process to travel light and to come back to a somewhat spring cleaned space. Got to see our little nephew and beloved family here before departing for Frankfurt and Portland the following week. I picked up a brochure in Portland that I didn't realize actually till later is all in Spanish. So we have Explore el Parque in PDX. It's really cool, actually. I did hear people speaking Spanish. Multiple languages are spoken in Portland, and we were able to visit some of my favorite parks, including the International Rose Test Garden and Mount Tabor parks, as well as others, and the Columbia River Gorge, and saw waterfalls. And this week was a week of really fun, action-packed travel, seeing friends, celebrating life, and reconnecting. Was really a precious time. And I have a lot of actually brochures and photos and stickers and ephemera and goodies from Portland. Maybe we'll share those. And we'll go in order here through the weeks, and then I'll share some more of that trip goodness from the Portland portion. But it was, yeah, eating and going out and exploring and showing Kayla that really beloved city in my life for the first time was, and seeing just some of my favorite people in the world was really great, was really special. Great to come back. So couldn't do everything I wished to do, but did as much as we could, and then did fly to see my family in Kona. Nice, and one of this is not sticky. We'll stick that down better, but we did continue to celebrate Easter. My mom gave us Easter baskets with malted milk balls and jelly beans and what were they? Reese's peanut butter bunnies, and that was so fun. I had brought Easter treats actually for the friends that hosted us from Germany, so we got to celebrate with a lot of sweets and treats continued on the Big Island, as well as mindful movement. Some highlights of the first week were celebrating World Tai Chi and Qigong Day at the old airport, and seeing the Wizard of Oz Ballet by West Hawaii Dance Theater Academy at the Kailua Theater, and being the MC for that event, making some special announcements for them, including my fine feedback workshop that I offered there on the Big Island, and eating some of my very favorite foods, including spicy crab bombs, apple bananas, papayas, coffee, so Kona coffee at multiple coffee shops. That was a fun little tasting that we did, and we ate off of my tutu, my grandma's wedding china, which I unearthed in our storage, among other beach visits and swimming and seeing dolphins and spending time with my parents, and it was a wonderful week. I picked up a few stickers while in Portland. Take up space, holographic rainbow amazingness, Portland lips, and one from the Sports Bra, a women's sports focused bar and restaurant in Portland, which was delicious. And yeah, so I was glad to support as much as I could some local and small businesses while in Portland, and I kept a bag from one of the souvenir shops that we went to, got some things for folks back here. The voodoo donuts part of the bag going there is always a highlight, as well as views from the parks. Another shop we visited, had a drink actually at the across from, so in a train, but next to the Oregon Rail Heritage Center. And gosh, so many other things, which I'll also be printing out photos and including them eventually in my scrapbooking and journaling here. So, and continuing into the trip to the Big Island. Yeah, let's do a little sneak peek of the ephemera from Kona. So as I decide where to put these things, I have a memory of what all there was. So this little goat friend is from Kona Mountain Coffee. We have stickers from the Wizard of Oz Ballet. So lucky to get to be there live for that. What a fun show. A very saucy Mina bird. I think also from Kona Mountain Coffee. A couple of my favorite stickers from HIC, Hawaii Island Creations. Surf Shop is one of my favorite sticker sources. Hawaii Island Coffee, I think, had this bamboo sticker, if can, if no can, no can. And classic. Yes, this is Kona Mountain Coffee as well. They hooked us up because we did buy some things there. and the program to the Wizard of Oz ballet, which was also available digitally. I thought that was so fun, but I did make sure to grab a hard copy since I do love having that in analog form in my journal as well. My notes for the workshop and to MC. And then we get into the coffee shops. We also really liked Kona Coffee and Tea. And I got some fun sort of local magazines there as well with some photos that I'll be using. My mountain. Some of the coffee shops we tried. A treasure mall, antique mall that we shopped at in Honoka'a. And my dad, Sifu, has awarded him instructor status and certification. So there is some further ephemera that I'll be looking forward to including in my scrapbooking in my journal. This tourist publication, Historic Kailua Village, which has great photos of many of the historic photos, my island, local grocery as well. I love that they advertise here. We did a lot of KTA shopping while at home, but historic photos and many of the major landmarks. There's some beautiful photos that I can also include. The full moon calendar, isn't that fun? The Kona Inn shopping village, which we did visit. Dolphins, which we did see. Great landscape photography, as well as the Kona Coast City lifestyle that we picked up at Kona Coffee and Tea, which has more local events and some other cheesy tourist publications like 100 Things to Do. Another piece of ephemera that I collected along the way, very synchronistically, the Whitman magazine, my alumni magazine from Whitman College in Walla Walla, Washington. The cover story that I picked up while I was at home, since it's delivered to my permanent address with my family, their feature article. And very relevant to my travels, had to do with forestry in the Pacific Northwest, so that a family of an alumnus, or multiple alumni, does. And quite specifically, since I already recorded, I had pulled it out, but here we are. This particular image shows the recent project that was so relevant to my travels, namely that we were traveling to and through Portland International Airport, PDX, and that was featuring some of this amazing woodwork. So, some highlights, and I have even more to share in May's flip. But that was what we got for the beautiful month of April. It really was a very action-packed, multi-continent and island, amazing time with friends and family and together. As had been May. I'm in May now in real time and working to really wrap up and make complete the whole March and first quarter, even as we're looking back at April, and May is going to be the wrap up for May will be right around the corner, and reflecting on that. Already halfway through quarter two and that. And just looking forward to such a beautiful summer as well. Not that everything's easy and perfect all the time. We have our challenges and concerns and family stuff, life stuff. But I hope you're doing well and creating, and to the greatest extent possible, nerding out on whatever your passions are, or getting to travel if that's your desire, or finding fulfillment and contribution in your career. Whatever the case may be, whatever the circumstances may be, I'm also here to help you. Thanks for moving together in spirit or in fact. Take good care, and I hope to be speaking with you again soon.